Yes, sir.
So we are all knows in first chapter we studied oxidation and reduction reactions. So can you tell me what is the definitions of oxidation? We studied that. Either oxidation means what? Add of oxygen or removal of what?
Hydrogen.
Removal of
Hydrogen.
or there is a
Loss
third
of
definition.
electrons.
Loss
There
of
is a
electrons.
third definition. What is that?
Loss of electrons.
Loss of electrons. Understanding? So loss of electrons only we used to call as what is that? We used to call that
Oxidation.
oxidation we will call. But what is the substance it is? It is the
Reducing agent.
reducing agent. Understanding? So metals are reducing agents because they can lose electrons. They can lose electrons during chemical reaction. Do you all understand, everybody? Yes, please. So that is what is metals called as. And if you notice it generally in our daily life, metals are solids, except there is a metal called as. What is that, everyone? So metals are basically solid, except there is a metal called as
Mercury.
mercury. Okay. So which is the only ways to called as liquid metal. Okay, all of you. Now, so during this chemical reaction, they will lose the electrons. So because of loss of electrons, we used to call them as a what? Oxidizing agents or reducing agent? Reducing agent. And by
Reducing
loss
agent.
of electrons, again chapter 1, you can notice it. By loss of electrons, we can say they will turn into ions. Of course, by loss of electrons or gain of electrons, they will turn into ions. But what ions? That is what is very important. What ions? All of you.
Cation.
Cations. Understanding? So metals will lose electrons and they will form cations, which is called as positive ions or negative ions. Everybody.
Positive ions.
Positive
ions.
So metals always will form positive ions and non-metals always will form what?
Negative ions.
Negative ions.
Not all the non-metals. Hydrogen is always different from non-metal. Of course, hydrogen is a non-metal, but still there is a different properties. Am I right, everybody? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So generally now you talk about metals. So metals, they will lose electrons. Always exemptions will be there. You keep in mind that. And they will turn into positive ions. What is the positive ions we used to call as?
Cations.
So again, chapter 1, electrolysis concept. We remember that. Decomposition, second type of decomposition, electrolysis process. So there will be two electrodes. What is the two electrodes we used to call as? Battery positive, it is connected. We used to call as what? We used to call as anode. Battery negative, it is
Cathode.
connected, which is
Cathode.
called as cathode. And negative ions we used to call as, what is that? Anions. And positive ions we used to call that cation. Understanding? So cations always will come towards to the cathode, anions always will come towards to the anode. That is the interconnectivity. So they will form, you can see, due to the ability to form cations, as the metals, they will lose the electrons and they will form the cations. Keep in mind, the metals are known as, because of this property, they are called as electropositive elements. There is a possibility of asking question. Why metals are called as electropositive metals? Anybody? Positive elements? Because they can form positive ions called as cations by losing what? By losing
Electrons.
that is what you have to remember. Everybody clear? All of you, please respond. Understand, Amma? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Now, so if you take, for example, that is the reason the metals play very, very important role in our daily life. And the most of the articles, like articles in the sense of instruments or like things, what we are using in our, the general, what is the language we'll use? English articles means news articles. Here chemistry articles means what? The objects, okay, or the useful materials. The articles, used in our daily life, like you take utensils, cars, buses, trains, fans, electric fans, everything is made up of what? All the articles which we are using in a daily life, most of the things they're made up of what, guys? They made up of
Metals.
metals only. Do you understand what I mean by articles? Yes, please. All of you? Yes, that is what. So now if you notice, is these metals are present directly? No. So these metals basically present. Where they're present, guys? Where you are expecting? From the introduction, you might be understand that. They are present extraction of ores, you might be remember. So they will be present in the, where? Earth's crust. Okay, all of you? So they are present deeper inside the earth in the form of not directly metals. They are present in the form of what? All of you?
Mineral.
Minerals. Okay, in the form of minerals. So if you notice it, in the, that is what? The most abundant mineral in the earth crust. Anybody knows? All of you? Most abundant. What is the most abundant? Abundant. What do you mean by abundant? Suppose I am saying, I have abundant friends. I have abundant food. What do you mean by abundant? Anyone?
Many or more.
Many. Many or more.
So like much, not many, much. Like volume, capacity is more. That is what we used to say abundant. Okay. So if you have taken this one, the most abundant element in the earth crust is aluminum. Okay. So that is the first thing. This is one of the important MCQ. The most abundant element in the earth crust is aluminum. The percentage is how much, everybody?
7%.
The first most abundant is aluminum. The second most abundant is iron, which is approximately 4%. Is it okay, everyone? Clear? All of you? And then it will be following the order, you can see. So the most constituent, about 4% of the earth crust is this iron only. Then if you go with other metals, there will be a decreasing order of their abundance. So you can ask that order also, they will ask you. Aluminum is greater than, iron is greater than, calcium is greater than, sodium is greater than, potassium is greater than magnesium. Clear, everybody? So this is decreasing order, increasing order. Anyone? Yes, please.
Increasing order.
Decreasing order. Decreasing order. Okay, high to low. So decreasing order. Clear, everybody? Understand, Abhirami, Mitakshri? So there will be a decreasing order in the earth crust. The percentage will be keep on decreases. The most abundant element, iron. Next, second abundant, aluminum, followed by iron, calcium, sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Okay. Now, if you all notice it, there is a tower in the world, very famous tower in the Paris. You might be noticing
Eiffel Tower.
movies and all. We'll talk about it. So, what is the tower name?
Eiffel Tower.
Everybody? So, Eiffel Tower. So, Eiffel Tower is a world popular tourism place. It will attract many tourists every year. Millions of tourists will visit that place. So do you think Eiffel Tower is made up of? Anybody can guess what it is made up of? Of course, if you see that, you will understand it. It is made up of metal. Am I right, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Even if
Yes,
you
sir.
not see directly, if you see directly, yes, Mr. Vijay, very good, Vijay. So it is made up of what, all people, guys? It is made up of purely
Iron.
iron. Okay, so that is what it is. So now, as I told you, there will be a question in our board exam. Last year they asked. I will send you in the WhatsApp group. I think you might be all already received it. Am I right? Yes. You all received in the group. Just have a glance. Am I right, all of you? Okay. So let us observe that the question. So the question is one more question in set 3 actually. Every set there is a question. But in set 3 particularly, this is the first question which increases your confidence in the exam. You all can see that. You can tell me, is it a question which you people cannot make? So just imagine that how much easy the question is. Set number 3, the first question is MCQs is related to this. So the number of electrons in the outermost cell. What is the outermost cell only? We used to call it as what? All of you. Yes, please. Valence cell of the atom of a, not a metal. Non-metal can be. So metal means you all people knows. What is metal, everybody? Just now we studied. Metal means what?
1, 2, or 3.
1, 2, 3.
Or
Sir, 1, 2 or 3 in its
1, 2
last
or
challenge.
3. Understanding? And so first option gone. Second option also 3 is repeating, so gone. And last option, there is no 8 electrons. Of course, if 8 electrons is there, that is called as what? Noble gas. Noble gas. So 8th class onwards, you are studying the same thing. Noble gas, ideal gas, inert gas, unreactive gas, all the things are same. Am I right? All of you? Inert gas, noble gas, ideal gas, everything. Even 9th class, you studied that helium. Helium is called as a what? Noble gas. Am I right, all of you? Of course, it is having only 2 electrons in its valence shell, but it is still called as a noble gas. So, what is the correct answer? 5, 6, 7. So, is it a tough answer? Is it the question, do you think you people can spend more than 10 seconds? Am I right, all of you? So, even the people will see this question. There is like these questions will ask. I never expect the question will come like this. Who knows, maybe this year they will simply replace the question with a non will strike and they'll put metal. That's all. Then what is the answer? 1, 2, 3. Over. Understanding, Ra? Harish? So now why I am using this question here, the time allotted for this question, basically there is 1 mark means you can spend minimum 50 seconds. That is the average duration we can spend according to the board exam. So first 20 mark, we'll be having 20 MCQs. So basically we can go with hardly 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So means in the sense of, averagely 30 minutes means in the sense of how many seconds you will get it, everybody. So 30 into 60, you will get 1800 seconds. So divided by 20. You will get approximately not even 50 seconds. You will get 90 seconds for one question. Do you all understand? All of you? Okay. So you can minimize here almost 80 seconds of time. Like these questions, you can save the time so that there is a question like physics, we have solved percentage question. There you can utilize this time for the time management. That is a good student who is making 99 or 100, that is the plan and that is the execution done by them. That is why they will be successful in the exam. Understand what I am saying, Mr. Hari Sairas? So like these questions, you have to conserve the time and you have to use it where it is necessary to test your knowledge. Next question also the similar thing which is related to the second chapter. Directly we studied. Am I right, all of you? Nettle string, ant string, tomato and tamarind. So tamarind, what is the acid present?
Tartaric acid.
Tartaric acid. Tomato?
Oxalic acid.
Yes. Ant string? Nettle string? Nettle string. Nettle. Methanoic acid. Understanding? And ant string. Ant string basically contains not acidic acid. Formic acid will be there. But of course, there is no option. You can take acidic acid also. So like that, there will be very simple questions, which will be very thing you can. So everything is important. That is the only thing I am mentioning you now here. So let it be. So this is what about the introduction of this chapter, metals and non-metals. I think you understand why we should study this and what is the importance of this for board exam. Then we are going to start a concept called as physical properties of metals. So I won't stress like kids definitions writing, this writing, that writing and all. So just we'll make an idea and we'll proceed further. Only chemical properties is highly important for class 10 board exam also. So physical properties of metals. So if we take, so coming to the physical properties, the first one is, so if you notice it, metals are appearance. So as we already studied, if you are a common man, what you know about metals? What you understand if I say is a metal? Anybody? I already taught you. Metals are
Heavy.
Yes, please. Metals are hard. That is the basic idea we have. Am I right, everybody? We think that metals means they are hard. Of course, there is an exemption, always will be exemption. And they have mainly the most important property is and have high tensile strength. Do you know anybody what is the meaning of tensile strength? I want to know. What is the meaning of tensile? Yes, please. Yes. Lower classes also you might be studying. That is what we used to call as load bearing capacity. Please learn it. Load bearing capacity before they break. Do you all understand, all of you? Yes, please. Mr. Arun Kailash, listening or not? Ugal, Nimish. So load bearing
Yes, sir.
capacity before they break means in the sense of, for example. So let me take, how many of you know balloon? You all people can stretch the balloon like this. Am I right, all of you? We can stretch the balloon. Okay. Now I am keep on putting the liquid, or I can keep on putting some load. Load is keep on increasing. So what will happen? At a particular place, the balloon will start breaking and the load will fall down. Am I right, everybody? Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
You might be noticing
Yes, sir.
a crane or anything. Normally, they will use a crane for lifting a load, so that you can see that sometimes there is a belt which we are using, attaching the load, carrying the load. You can see that the belt may damage or it may lose its strength, and you can see accidents are happening. The load fall down because of the belt damages. Like that accidents you might be heard in the news. Am I right? So means in the sense of the capacity, more than a capacity, if the load will increases, so that it will lose its capacity, so that it will fall down. So the maximum bearing capacity before they break, that is the what we used to call as what? High tensile strength. Do you all understand, all of you? For example, you can see there is a bench called as wood bench. The bench made up of what? All of you? Wood. Okay. Now 10 people will stand. 10 people, 20 people will stand. Do you think that the wood will stand, resist? All of you? The wood will break somewhere. Wherever the weak zone is there, definitely the wood will break. Am I right or wrong? All of you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
And if you make the same table with iron, for example, I will make. So it will hold more number of people. Of course, iron also cannot hold infinity number of people. But definitely there is even a 50 people can stand. Iron cannot be break or cannot be damaged. But there is a capacity, maximum holding capacity. Once it will cross more than that, definitely it will break. Am I right or wrong? Yes. So that is what. So basically metals are very hard and they have high tensile strength. Tensile strength in the sense of load bearing capacity before they breaks. Maximum load they can carry. So that is the reason we'll say metals have high tensile strength. That is the reason we are using these metals. Because of this load bearing capacity, we are using in construction of what? Anybody? Construction of bridges. Understand? And as well as buildings. Okay? BUILDINGs, buildings and etc. So wherever we need to carry the heavy loads or heavy things, you can see it is made up of metals only. So generally, all the metals are hard, but hardness is not same. Do you understand, Rapugal? Can you hear me? Respond. All generally, of course, there is a metals who are soft enough, like sodium and potassium. Generally, I am talking about it. So generally, if you have taken, all the metals are what, everybody? All metals are hard. Okay. So there is exemptions, but that hardness is not same. For example, I'll make a bench with the iron. I'll make a bench with the copper. I'll make a bench with aluminum. I'll make a bench with a zinc. Do you think all the benches will be same strength? That is what is my question. Please respond.
No, sir.
No. But all are metals only. All are hard enough only. So all metals are hard, but hardness is not same. That is very important. Not same for all the metals. Okay. So some metals like iron, aluminum, copper, they are very, very hard. Some metals like sodium, that is what I said, Na, and potassium, they are very what? Soft. Okay. So that is what it is. So if you take it, even the metals which are very good. So iron is more stronger than copper, is more stronger than aluminum, is more stronger than magnesium, is more stronger than sodium. So you can conduct even activity to verify the different metals have different hardness. So you can prove that. So this is the series will happen. So if you are keep on going, this hardness is decreasing or increasing? Hardness
Decreases.
decrease. So please note that. So till here you remember, and then from here we will continue in the next class. So that is what this is the first property of metals. Now, how many of you know blacksmith and goldsmith? What is the work? Anybody can tell? What is the work of blacksmith and goldsmith? Make it fast. I don't have time. I have to talk a class for 9th class. Yes, please. What is the importance of blacksmith and goldsmith? Anybody? Please respond. Blacksmith and goldsmith, what the work they will do, Amma? They will melt the metals and they will bring it into different shapes. Am I right? All of you? They will melt the metal. That is what? They will make the metal into elastic nature by strong heating. Like by heating very high temperature. And they will bend it and they'll slowly cool it. The cooling process will be very slow. So that is how the gold ornaments and all will be made up of. Now, the process is only called as tempering. So till now you might be all don't know. So learn the word called as tempering. Okay. So tempering is the process in which metals are made elastic. Elastic means bending. We can bend it or not after heating. Am I right or wrong? Everybody. Please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So metals are made elastic by heating to moderately high temperatures and as well as cooling very slowly. So that process is called as tempering. Okay. Learn a word for vocabulary. Future, if you don't know, you cannot. Suppose the same word will come in exam also. Ayo meaning theriyada means don't know. So maybe who knows, like me, people will form a question paper. I will use a word called as tempering for asking question from metals and non-metals, because there is a property we can heat it, we can melt it, and we can change the shape and we can bring it back to hardness. Am I right or wrong? Everybody? So that is what it is. Okay. So this is what about the today's class. I hope you all understand, and please well focus, be on time, and don't get to the bed now. Some subject you can not necessary to read this one now. So go through some other subject and focus on the work. Okay. Thank you all of you.